Hi everyone, welcome to DzjaDzja. This is a little intro Meet the Artist video to give you a little idea of who I am and what I'm doing here and why I'm doing it. So I am not a formally trained artist. I'm not a professional artist. And in fact, for many, many years, I would have said that I wasn't an artist at all. I actually work in a lot of different arts. My training is in technical theater, and I perform theatrically, and I'm a writer. But when it came to visual arts, I would have said I'm not an artist. I don't know what I'm doing. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that I had never practiced. And part of the reason I had never practiced was because I guess I thought you're just born with talent, and I didn't have it. But about a year ago, I had surgery, and after my surgery, I was laid up for about 6 weeks, and I couldn't really do anything, and I spent a lot of time watching YouTube, like you do, and I found myself riveted by a bunch of the... Sorry, that's my dog. She's a jerk. Anyway, so I found myself riveted by a bunch of the artists that are on there. I mean, you probably know all the usual suspects. Like, I watch Drawing with Waffles with Rin, and I love Casey Golden. And one of the things that I found really fascinating about a lot of my favorite artists that I was watching was that they weren't perfect. And I don't mean that as any kind of slam. I don't think any artist, anyone who's making any kind of creation ever does it perfectly, right? But there were things that were so evocative about them. I mean, Rin works really, really hard to perfect particular aspects of her craft, and you see it over time, and it gets better. And with Casey Golden, she draws, she says herself she likes these really simplistic, shapely images that tend to look really simple, but they are so evocative. Like, she's generally not trying to convey like anything super sad or serious, but they do such a good job of conveying whatever emotion she is feeling. And that means a lot to me. I mean, I kind of feel like that's what art is for. So I watched these artists and longer, and I was like, well, maybe the reason I'm not very good at visual art is because I never really put any time into it. And I think maybe I should give myself a chance before I write this off completely. So I started a challenge. I think it was Drawing with Waffles had done a character challenge that was an alphabet challenge where they did a character from each letter of the alphabet, and I started doing that. Picked my favorite character that started with A, B, C, drew them. And they were terrible. Let me just tell you. I'm not even showing them to you. It's not going to happen. They were terrible. My proportions were bad. My shading was bad. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. But they weren't as bad as I'd worried they were going to be. Like, I had learned over time to sort of start to pay attention to things, even from just the little bit I had been doing. And so I was like, well, I guess maybe I should just keep going. And so I did. I did that challenge throughout the summer, and then when Inktober came around in 2019, I really got cranked up, and I did every single challenge, and I could see my work improve as I worked, and I could also really start to pick out things that were frustrating me. There's a couple artists that I watch on YouTube, but I can only watch them when I'm really not feeling self-conscious at all, because they'll get on and they'll talk about how bad their old art was compared to what they do now, and even their old art is better than what I can do, and it's so disheartening. But I have dedicated myself to the idea that I really want to learn this. This is something I really want to do. I want to be able to express myself and how I feel via visual mediums. And if I want to do that, then I need to practice it. And so that's what I'm doing here on YouTube is I'm practicing. I'm dedicating myself to the idea that I want to progress. And this is sort of like my accountability. I'm going to show you guys what I do. And probably sometimes it won't be that great, but it's to the end of improving. One of the things that Casey is always saying is practice doesn't make perfect, but it sure does make something. I think practice doesn't make perfect, but it sure does make better. And I can't help but improve if I try. So here I am trying. So just some things that you can probably notice from this piece as I've been working on it. I'd like to get better at proportions. This is a self-portrait. Meet the artist as it is. This is more or less what I look like. My head really is super big, so it's not as disproportionate as you might think it is. I really do have an abnormally large head, but it's a bit big. So I'd like to get better at proportions, and for shortening, like I'd like to be better at making shapes that look like a real thing in general. I'd like to get better at coloring. As you're seeing right now, a little bit ago I showed you the 3 different types of markers that I have. I've slowly been trying to come up with markers that fit my style and what I need out of them. And I've got one set that's my skin tones and one set that's my pastels, and then I've got my Ohuhu brush markers, which I feel like are the standard inexpensive what you get when you're trying to learn art. I don't know. But I'd like to get better at coloring because I watch Bailey J too, and I feel like she just does some really amazing stuff with skin tones with markers, and her shading, and like I'm always scared that I'm gonna overshade, and because of that I undershade, and it's just not. I need to improve, and color mixing too. I do know a little bit about color theory, but it tends to be something that I only apply theatrically and not like on the small scale. And there's a huge difference between mixing like giant buckets of acrylic paint and mixing on the paper for the tone that you're going for. So I don't know. I'd like to get better at drawing hair. You see me right now. I'm not great at it. I would like to get better at drawing different types of people. I'm not the best at drawing people who don't look like me or my kids. I draw them a lot. I would like to get better at backgrounds and detail. Oh, see, right now I have tortoiseshell glasses and I'm in here trying to color them so they look vaguely like tortoise shells, but I don't know. It turned out okay in the end. It's not like I hate it. It's just, I think probably anyone who does their own art knows that every time you look at a piece of art, what you tend to see is the things that you wish had gone better. And that's certainly true for me. So I don't know. I guess I really want to be able to draw the images that come into my head. Because for me, every single form of art, I had a moment of frustration there. For me, every single form of art is a attempt or a vessel by which you can express something, a thought or an emotion or concept, and you have to have a certain skill with it in order to actually be expressing that thought, emotion, or concept. And so I want to get better because I want to be able to express myself. That's my thing in life, is expressing myself. You can see right here, I desperately need to buy a pack of grays. All of my grays are going dry. It's so sad. And in a little while, when I'm coloring the background, those of you who are Sharpify will probably catch that I switch from Ohuhu pale an Ohuhu pale blue to an Art and Fly pastel blue, because my Ohuhu was just done. It was so done. So maybe I need to buy some new markers. That might need to happen soon. Anyway, so we're headed to the end of this video. If you've watched it all the way through, I want to congratulate you. You get imaginary cool points from me. I want to thank you for stopping by my channel. Um, we're heading into May, and Mermay is coming, and I'm really excited. I have what I think is a really interesting project for Mermay. Obviously, I don't think I can put out 30 videos over the next month, but I'm going to share some of what I'm working on with you, and I hope you enjoy it. And I hope if you are an artist, then whatever art journey you're on is going well for you, and I hope you're making progress, because I think progress is the most we can ever really ask for ourselves. So thanks, and bye.